Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Cordant. We are back for some more Rogue Trader. We are about to finish the Reaving Tempest Spire, or at least that's what I expect. We just killed Eremitis, the big bad boss of this entire Commorragh area. Big fight over here with some Incubus, some Grotesques, and herself. We all leveled up. Before starting the episode, I actually just did level ups to save you guys that little bit of time. I will just go over the things that we did. So we got, on my main character, I picked up Coercion. I didn't go for Persuasion because I felt like I have a lot of it already. I will still put points into it, but there have been certain occasions where I wanted to have Coercion and I didn't have enough. So I put some points into Coercion here. And then I picked Unwavering Motivation. The target of Inspire gains plus 5% additional damage for every 10 stacks of tactical advantage until the beginning of the Master Tactician's next turn. So I think this will couple well with the Heroic Act from the Officer. Like for example on Iliad, just giving her more damage from Inspire and even more percent damage from Unwavering Motivation can just make her wipe out the entire party of enemies in a single round. I think it could be cool. Looking at Iliad, I gave her Lore Xenos. This is her highest score. I was really thinking about buffing her Demolition because I am very seriously considering starting to take Iliad with me instead of Argenta. It hurts my soul to do it. It hurts my soul to even think about it, but I'm feeling like Iliad is just way too good to not have in my party. To be seen. If I do this though, I will have nobody with Demolition skill, which sucks. And then from the Assassin, I took Seize the Advantage. The Assassin gains 15 lethality against enemies that have the following effects: Slowed, Immobilized, or Hemorrhage. This is something that we can apply on every single one of these we can apply. The bonus is gained for each of these effects, but cannot exceed 45 extra lethality. Could be cool. On Abelard here, we took Athletics. And we took Flashfire. The cost of Wildfire is reduced by 1 AP for every 3 stacks of versatility instead of 4. Just making him function a little bit faster. On Pascal, we took Tech Use to continue upping that, and Pounce. And the Bounty Hunter's allies gain 7% critical hit chance against enemies affected with one or more of the following effects. So Prey, Trailed, or Immobilized. I usually apply Prey or Trail on the important enemies, so this is just another buff for my entire team. I think it could be cool. On Idira, I gave her Lore Warp, and I gave her Warp Minds. I'm not sure if this will be good, but it seems interesting. After every 6th use of a psychic power by the Psyker, all enemies gain a stacking -5 penalty to all characteristics until the end of combat. And we do spam a lot of buffs with her. So, maybe this will be cool if she doesn't blow herself up with the demon. We'll see. And then finally on Cassia, I gave her more awareness and I gave her Under My Protection. Allies that are targeted by the Navigator's abilities gain 5 to all resistant tests against warp effects caused by demons, psychic powers, navigator powers, etc. until the end of combat. And this stacks for every applied navigator ability. I don't feel like this is super mandatory, but out of the other options, this felt like the most useful one. Aside from that, some things I wanted to consider here. I like this Shadow Field. I'm not sure if anybody's gonna use it, except maybe Cassia. So Shadow Field is an item we picked up from Eremitis, which means at the beginning of the combat, the wearer gains the Shadow Field effect. While under this effect, the wearer counts as being in a full cover against all range attacks. The effect is lost when the wearer is hit by a range attack and suffers damage from it. So I think it could be very cool, just as an additional defensive property for her. And I think I can easily swap for this Imperial Scroll, or maybe even for the Rosary. I haven't seen a lot of tests based on commerce. I've seen a couple of them on Lord Imperium, but I guess this gives me 20 in total, this gives me 15. Just do this. The other thing I was considering was for Abelard. I do feel like this dueling sword has a lot of potential. It's 17 to 30 damage with 15 armor pen compared to 22 to 33 out of my heavy greatsword. It doesn't give me the defensive properties, but after scoring critical hit with dueling sword, if the wielder has a weapon in the other hand, they immediately attack the closest target enemy with it, using whichever attack costs least AP. So I was kind of considering taking another weapon, another heavy hitting weapon on my sidearm, and hopefully make some use out of it. I'm just not exactly sure what. I could apply venom, I guess. Poison enemies with toxin. Though we're not really going for damage over time, right? We're just bursting people down. I also like this hand flamer. This is the one that debuffs them, right? Oh no, it's not. It's a different one. Okay, so this is an option. Toxic knife. I feel like this pistol here, not really gonna cut it. Although... Oh, this does a... Oh. Inflicts 1 stack of fatigue. I kind of forgot about that. So I do like this. I was thinking about this one though, yeah. When hit by this weapon, all melee attacks against the target gain 10% critical hit chance and 15% critical damage for 2 turns. Which could also be very cool, but I need flamer proficiency. Other than that, I think there's nothing else really to my interest. Okay, I'll keep going with the needle pistol and see how it works. And I'll decide then. Okay, so let's get prepared to be entering the webway and see if we can escape this place. I imagine this will be a dialogue-heavy episode, because this should be like the end of this section.
With the physical horrors of Commorragh behind them, a long and arduous journey, possible only with the help of a Xenos guide, lay ahead for the rogue trader and his party. From one strange destination to the next, through unknowable environments, the mere sight of which could drive one to madness.
I like these animations. Kinda making me dizzy though.
Despite the challenges, they managed to escape the labyrinthian webway and find their way back home.
Nice. Was that home at the end there a question? Oi, quest failed. Why quest failed? Are we on Janus? Yeah, we are. Mourn, you made a pact with the Aldari on Janus and let them remain on the planet. Okay. Mourn's silhouette emerges from the thicket without disturbing a single blade of grass. He addresses you in an accusatory tone of dissatisfaction. I sensed your mind, Monkey. Why are you skulking by the webway gate? Why have you come to Lilithan in secret? Do you intend ill for us? Mourn's eyes shift from Ilia to Mourn, from Mourn to Eklandil, then back to Ilit again. He exclaims indignantly, "By Azurian's grace, what is the meaning of this strange visit?" I apologize for intruding upon your hallowed ground. It is where my journey from Commorragh has taken me. You come from Commorragh? Mourn says nothing for a moment and continues, his voice shocked. Now I see. The gate refused to obey me because it was sealed from within. By the Dark Ones, no doubt. Lilithan was meant to become a slaughterhouse for the Drukhari. Mourn's gaze bored into Irliet for a few moments in tense silence as he considers something in his mind. At last he says in a commanding tone, "Your arrival is sudden, outcast Irliet, but perhaps there is purpose behind it. You will serve your people shortly." What do you mean, bitch? Do you know anything about my abduction? The news of your disappearance has not reached Janus. My guess is that your close servants decided to conceal this event so as not to beget fear. You said Irliet to serve the Aldari once more and looking to use it again? Mourn grimaces contemptuously. A monkey cannot comprehend the depth of the tragedy that befell our home, our Krudarak. The duty of every child of Azurian is to do all they can to quell the pain of that loss, and Yet the Outcast is no exception. Unlike you, Moran, I was able to find the truth. The truth of Krudarach's doom was revealed to me, even though that required me to throw myself in the Dark City's deadly embrace. Iliad frowns and looks defiantly into the Farseer's eyes. Is the fire of our souls not better directed at worthy deeds than at arguing with our kin? Eklundil waves his hand in the air, making several gestures of unknown meaning. Moran and Iliad fall silent sheepishly. I can see that something is troubling your delicate heart, my kinsman Moran. Share your feelings with me and the outcast then, and I will reveal the truth of Krudarach's fate to you a little later. We did not spend our time on Lilithan in fruitless grief. On the contrary, our lost kinspeople have answered my call and are now pleading for help. Driven by revenge, they set out to pursue the one responsible for Krudarach's rueful demise, only to end up as captives on a monkey world. Her emerald green gaze turns to you and rests on you a little longer than usual. Then I hope that you will lend me a shoulder to lean on again, Elentak. What world is it? That I know not. All that my visions showed me was an infinitely green sea, a living sea, and the maddening thirst of a hunter who was pursuing the children of Azurian. Outcast, your path is taking you toward the stars again. Find our kinspeople and do not let them perish. Iliad nods silently and leaves it at that, as if she's less interested in Moran's words than in your reaction. I will help you find your kinspeople. Iliad breathes out almost inaudibly and her shoulders relax, and I am grateful to you, Alantak. So how are things here on Janus? Lilithan has been charitable to the Monkey. It bestows special gifts upon some of your servants. It forges bonds with them. For the first time I see our world so tolerant of your kind. It reminds me just how much I still do not understand. Alas, your kin do not trouble themselves with contemplating this matter. They fear those gifted by Lilithan, they despise them and seek to kill them. And that does not surprise me at all. Moran's voice grows pensive. Lilithan's slumber is restless. It has guarded a part of itself away from you. It is what the Monkey call the isolated region. At first I thought it was its attempt to push you away so it could heal from the wounds your cold iron had inflicted upon its flesh. But I see something else in what was transpiring. Mystery. I like mystery. Your kinsman, Eklundil, helped us escape from Commorragh. Moran exchanges long looks with Eklundil, then says gravely, "This is where Eklundil's path and yours diverge, Monkey. He will stay with us when you leave." That's fine. Eklundil nods. I am elated to be once more among those with whom I shared Krudarach's time of bloom, Moran. Jesus. There are some really strange options. Of course. Good luck, Eklundil. Thank you, Elantak. An iridescent haze momentarily clouds the world around you, and that moment is all it takes for Moran to hide Eklundil behind the veil of his xenosorcery. I can still see him over there. We will speak of my kin's fate no longer. All that was meant to be said has been said. We will send instructions to our Monkey allies, so that they provide you with the means of transportation. Farewell, Monkey. I am pleased that our meeting did not spill blood into Lilithil's womb. We are back on our ship. Cool. I want to see why my quest failed, though. If there's something I hate, is missing quests or failing quests. Is it because we didn't want to destroy the entire world there? To kill the homunculus? Maybe. The high-ranking officers beam with genuine happiness. Danrock steps forward and solemnly says, "Welcome to the bridge, Lord Captain. Like the rest of the crew, we were overjoyed by your return and thank the Emperor for it." The crew stares in awe and terror at the giant towering over the crowd. Some make the sign of the Aquila on their chests, others clasp their knees with a prayer to the god Emperor on their lips. This wave of pious shock does not seem to discompose Ulfar in the slightest. He just chuckles into his beard and glances around curiously. Marazai's presence alone is enough to elicit sighs of dismay and whispers from the crowd. The Drukhari ignores all Monkey reactions to his person and surveys the ship's bridge, examining every detail with an ostentatiously businesslike interest. His markedly casual posture is belied by a subtle and unusual tension in his body. Heinrich von Kallax approaches you. He is not looking his best. It seems he has not slept in quite a while. "Lord Captain, allow me to express how glad I am that you have rejoined us, alive and unarmed." Shireen, light of my eyes, I am overjoyed to see you among us once more. Truly the Exalted One is merciful for showing you the way back home. I hope all the Ashmags who left us to languish without our Lord Captain have already become food for the warp demons. Sister Argenta greets you with burning eyes. Welcome back, Rogue Trader. No trial could break the will of the Emperor's chosen to or stop him from returning to those who have put their hopes in him. Okay. First of all, how much do you know about my abduction? Not much, Lord Captain. All contact with your party was lost shortly after the supposed pirates boarded the ship and abducted your companion's kinspeople. We immediately sent shuttles with boarding parties to your aid, but we didn't find anyone on the ship safe for the crew, who had all either been butchered or driven insane. Heinrich's gaze is focused on Iliad, his eyes burn with undisguised hatred and a promise. Iliad's expression is inscrutable, but her eyes are turned to you and you only. Since your lordship's body was never recovered, we hoped against hope that you are still alive. Alas, even our most alert augur operators never spotted anything suspicious, and thus our ignominious failure put you in dire peril. Heinrich's gaze, tense and almost desperate, is focused on you, but he says nothing, for now at least. Dare we inquire what happened to your lordship? No. I'm glad you answered. No. Yeah, do I just go for this? Because I don't want to burn Iliad in front of them. My loyal servants, the accursed Xenos tried to take your leader from you, but their plan has failed. I am once again with you. Are you with me? Death to the enemies of House von Valencius. Show us the culprits and we'll tear the heads off the lot of them and then stack them next to your throne, Lord Captain. The furious officers grabbed their weapons as if eager to crush the foes who dared breach the sanctity of your person right here and now. I'm curious that, like, Argenta isn't reacting to Marajai, though. This is so touching. Marajai's voice is laced with venom. Dude, you aren't realizing how close you are to dying. Where was my ship all this time? At an officers' council, we decided to take the ship to Footfall, where one can hear the gossip of the entire expanse. Smart. Our agents tirelessly searched for information about your lordship. Had we heard even a whisper of where you were imprisoned, we would have immediately launched a rescue expedition. While you were away, Lord Captain, we took every effort to find you. That resulted in a number of modifications to the ship that have significantly upgraded it. Oh? Thanks to a favorable deal made by the esteemed High Factotum, the ship is now equipped with state-of-the-art auger systems, yeah, and direction finders from Kawagama. We did have some planets we could not go to because our auger systems were not good enough. Awesome. Enough empty talk, your master is waiting for a proper celebration. There is quite enough fawning and fussing. I wish to return to my duties immediately. Let's go for this one, be a little bit more joyful. We begin at once, your lordship. Glory to the rogue trader, glory to House von Valencius. Your subject's triumphant roar sends a tremor through the bridge. It's as though the ship itself is greeting its long-lost owner. The factotum smacks his lips awkwardly and adds in a quieter voice. Lord Captain, the senior officers will report to you shortly. In your absence, we received a number of astropathic messages and dispatches that demand your attention. Alright. Nomos. The group of servitors suddenly stirs, their movements frighteningly identical even for automatons. They stare at you and say in perfect unison. Hello, Nomos have come to welcome you back. We sense that a great deed has been done, a vivid imprint on existence. You did something very important. What was it? I escaped from a dark city of the Xenos and showed them mercy. It suits you, what we see in you, light and connections without the urge to destroy. Did Nomos say it correctly? The servitor chorus, which sounds like a single voice, falls silent. Nomos appears to be waiting for a response, in eager anticipation. I am glad that you are learning to understand me, Nomos. After a long pause, the servitor chorus responds with unexpected forcefulness. Nomos are glad too. We must go now. We will come to speak with you later. Another pause follows, so long that silence becomes more piercing than a scream. Then the servitors finally break it. We felt sadness when we could no longer communicate with you, and we were worried about your fate. One can detect with the naked eye the moment when Nomos leaves the bridge. The servitors stop moving in sync and slowly shuffle off to their posts. Okay. Who is that? Your Lordship, I must report highly compromising information about a member of your retinue, namely Mistress Jaya Dari. Really? Who it turns out is nothing of the sort, but a commoner, a fugitive from the law, and a deserter from the Imperial Guard. I have solid evidence to prove it. I want to know the details. I may have overlooked some nuances, but I have solid evidence that the person whom we presently know as Jay Hadari served in the 9th Ifrit Regiment, and was identified as a perpetrator of numerous instances of theft and smuggling, as well as desertion. And this individual is not of noble birth, but of the lowest origins. This evidence had better be incontrovertible. The factotum bows and holds out the data slate to you. It is all here, your lordship. Official records from the administratum, attestations from the Departamento Monitorum, and much more besides. How did you come to know of this? In your lordship's absence, the burden of watching over the dynasty's treasury fell upon my shoulders. I deemed Jay Haydari the likeliest threat to the dynasty's material security. I had my people conduct an investigation, and they uncovered a past connection between Haydari and an individual by the name of Mercy, a highly influential figure in the Kasbali Commission with a dangerous reputation. Fearing that the predatory interests of the Kasbalika would pose a threat to your coffers, I began my own investigation. It was entirely reasonable to suspect collusion of some kind between Haydari and Mercy, and so my suspicions were confirmed. The two were connected. It was from Mercy's associates that I acquired the compromising intelligence on Haydari. I wish to see it. We have something to discuss. Okay. Don't really care that much about Jay, but let's do this. Shop me, did you little wannabe quester? Jay's voice and bearing undergo a stark transformation. Biting soldier slang cut through her typically gentle speech. Don't miss a thing, your servants, Cordamt, and they're sneaky ass too. They'll climb up a grog's arse to find out what they want to know. I think we need to talk about your past. Only if this scum slings his hook. Jay nods at the now much paler Danrog. What?
Well, your lordship, ask away. I'll tell it like it is. I'm not going to try to wriggle out of it.
Okay. Tell me your real story.
So what do you want to hear, Shireen? A children's tale about a beautiful princess? A ballad about a queen of thieves? How about a new story, Shireen? Once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived on a sand-covered lump of rock, and the core of that rock contained untold riches for servants of the Imperium. The girl scraped out those riches with her little hands, breaking her back and coughing up her lungs, on behalf of people who had never clapped eyes upon her, and who would never know her name. She did this every day until she turned 16, and then his servants came and drafted the girl into the 19th Ifrit Regiment. Can you imagine? Of course, the regiment was wiped out on its first sortie. But the girl survived. The Exalted One protects. So what was next? Years serving in the Astra Militarum, just a shitload of hard labor, and fighting, and deals, and shady connections, and new opportunities. But everything in this world ends sooner or later, Shireen. The now not-so-little girl went and fell in with the Kasbalika. She saved up a little gold, and she even indulged in excess from time to time. Until living the good life almost cost the little girl her head after her patrons got caught in an internal investigation between the Officio Prefectus and Departamento Monitorum. So the girl ran as fast as her little legs could carry her, until her eyes and the beams of fortune brought her to the expanse. A shitty story, all things considered, Shireen.
She has a hint of Irish in her voice. I knew you were no princess.
Oh, really, Shireen? And there I thought you were quite ready to believe my time-honed thespian performance.
Do you have a family?
The folks on Footfall are my only family, Shireen. The trickster twins and the rest of the rabble, plain-talking and loyal as dogs. And sometimes as dull as the pommel of a worn-out blade.
Is Jay your real name at least?
I swear on the grave of my drunkard father who sold me into the mines, and on the lives of the 11 siblings I never had, Shireen.
Ah. It is difficult to say. The current Jay is a person entirely unfamiliar to you. Was there anything you did not like to me about, Jay?
Oh, so many things, Shireen. I'm struggling to keep track of them all. I told you the truth about the Expanse, and not a single word of it was a lie. What I told you about Footfall and Vladayam and how we do business in these parts, all true. Don't get me wrong, the apple of my weary eye. There are two things in this life that I dislike. Looking back at the past and having someone pry into my soul without asking.
I'm just gonna skip through these.
Corporal Haydari
She
reporting
used to
for
be
duty,
there.
sir.
I don't really care too much about
I've
her.
had enough
Sorry.
of the Astra Militarum shit to
How do you get involved? Yeah,
My
yeah.
eyes were open to the truth, Shireen. It was Orc. You and that.
I
Who
see.
the fuck? Never mind.
Okay, this could be interesting though. Who is this mercy that Danok has accused you of associating with?
We knew each other once. He helped me make the move to the Expanse and establish my first connections. But that's an old story I prefer not to poke at if I can help it. Things are good in my life now, and I don't need mercy.
Okay. About your new persona?
Are you worried I'm going to start spitting on the deck and shriveling your officers' ears with my foul tongue? Don't be, Shireen. I much prefer being seen as a princess rather than a deserter. I'll continue to play the part in front of the others, but you wanted to talk frankly, so I've dropped the act.
Okay. So I'm not gonna go for any of these. She did what she did, whatever. If she wants to help my party, which she has, we'll just keep her. So I think we've covered everything. Return to your duties.
Sir, yes, sir. Your lordship, Shireen. I'll be here, all primed and ready to go.
Jay's lips curve into a faint smile now that the seal of silence that shackled them for years has finally been broken. Danrock adjusts his jacket before addressing you. Now then, Lord Captain, shall we get to business? We have a number of items to go over. First and foremost, I have news about your subjects. In the time that you were gone, the servants of House von Valensis have toiled tirelessly in their service to you and for the benefit of the entire Trade Protectorate. Once word of your return reaches every von Valensis world, why, the masses will be ecstatic. Never before has the Expanse known a leader as merciful as you. The fanatics of the Creed may whisper about the heresies of the mind burgeoning under your rule, but your benevolence has forever captured the souls of millions of ordinary subjects. The Expanse is inflamed, your lordship. Squadrons and smaller groups of despicable Drukhari radar systems. Ah, don't make me fight Drukhari ships. The cult of the Final Dawn has emerged in full force, wreaking havoc everywhere. We've heard rumors of the fall of St. Hill's Pride, House Chorda's world, an outrageous sacrilege given how abundant and inexpensive Promethium is there. Strife has broken out between House Winterscale and House Chorda. Chaos reigns everywhere. Are they gonna make me choose? Only the esteemed Lord Inquisitor is trying to fight it, concentrating all available forces at Footfall to tighten them into a fist to smash the rampaging heretics and Xenos vermin. So what kind of Xenos are attacking the Expanse? Drukhari, your lordship. Their squadrons, both large and small, are invading the Expanse, unleashing carnage on planets, taking captives by the thousands, and attacking ships. It is as if something has poked their nest, if you will, and now they are lashing out. I wonder what happened. How fare the worlds of my dynasty? The heretics' malicious acts make it difficult to maintain astropathic contact with the colonies. The cult of the Final Dawn strikes everywhere, and their sleeper agents are active on every planet. On Viabo 6, a mutiny was crushed after a group of newly arrived prisoners succumbed to blasphemous propaganda. But other worlds stand firm against the onslaught. Oh, give me a second, please. I am back, sorry. So, Xavier Calcazar led the defense. Exactly. The esteemed Lord Inquisitor Calcazar declared himself commandant of the Coronix Expanse and issued orders to requisition troops. He made Footfall his base of operations and it was the most logistically convenient point. From there, his fleet strikes throughout the Expanse, destroying the forces of the Cult of the Final Dawn and the abominable Drukhari. He may be all that currently stands in the way of the Expanse being turned into ashes. When heretics laid siege to Euphrates II, a hallowed forge of the Cognizant's fleet, the Lord Inquisitor sent enormous force. Now they and the Explorator squadrons recalled from the front line stand together against the heretics in the battle for the sacred planet. And what is the problem between Incendia and Caligos? When the esteemed Lord Inquisitor called upon the rogue traders to join his forces, her ladyship Incendia Shorda heeded the summons, while his lordship Caligos Winterscale ignored it. Rumor has it that this refusal was defiant in manner and served as a pretext for Lady Chorda to declare war on House Winterscale. Winterscale's ships are being hunted and his worlds occupied under the pretense of compelling them to submit to the Imperial Creed. Surprisingly, for all his love of fighting, Winterscale is in no hurry to defend his domain. According to intercepted astropathic messages, he and his retinue are currently on Quetzal Temer hunting down a Xenos fleet. Aldari by all appearances. Aldari, you say? Anything else I should know? The factotum lowers his head in thought. Nice quest. There have been other minor developments. If you so wish, I will gladly bring you up to speed on the bridge. I would not want them to take any time away from this occasion. Thank you, report received. Lord Captain, Abelard bows his head. Allow me to make a request, a personal one. While you were away, Zachary Weiss received an astropathic message from Dargonus. It concerns my family. The Werserians have been accused of betraying House von Valentius. What? How is that possible? I cannot comprehend it. The Seneschal shakes his head ruefully. The Werserians have served the Rogue Trader dynasty loyally for generations. This is hard to admit, but I am simply crushed by the news. The accusations were leveled by, or on behalf of, the Drive Stems, the Governor family. Under normal circumstances, the investigation would not have required their involvement, and my entire family would have been... what? But being of noble stock, the Werserians are entitled under an ancient custom to petition for a rogue trader's personal protection once in a generation. Your personal protection, Lord Captain, Abelard raises his eyes at you. Do not deny us that honor, I implore you. I don't believe... I mean, they could be, right? I don't know them that well. Tell Zachary Weiss send a message to Dargonus saying that I will personally take part in the investigation. The least I can do is try to understand this. Abelard breathes a sigh of relief and seems to grow an inch or two taller. Will do, Lord Captain. Okay, so it seems like we have a lot of quests. Hidira hurriedly enters the study, sniffling and hunching her shoulders. She looks haggard. There are bags under her eyes, her hair is disheveled, and her hands quiver slightly every few moments. With some effort, she focuses her eyes on you and forces a crooked smile. Lord Captain, I wanted to thank you for not leaving me with that sick homunculus, and I'm sorry if I said a bunch of things I shouldn't have said. I was pretty out of it. You just don't know what it's like to finally be alone with your own thoughts. It wasn't easy to give that up and believe it was just another trap set by a Xenos. Well, thanks to you, things are back to the way they've always been. The doors cracked open again, and my dear old whisperers are back to torture me, the rascals. She chuckles bitterly. You know, I didn't come here just to get all teary-eyed and grateful on you. It's something important, something about my whispers. See, I've been having some interesting visions, and I feel like how we deal with those visions is going to decide my fate. I know it sounds dramatic, but I'm being dead serious. I keep having the same vision over and over again. I'm walking down a corridor, and there's this door at the end. And I just know that right behind that door is blissful silence. All I've got to do is reach out and open it. So I touch it with my fingers, I can feel the cold, rough metal, and then I suddenly snap out of it and always find myself staring at the wall in some compartment or other. I look behind me, and all the doors on the way are open, but I have no memory of how I got there. Lord Captain, I'll cut to the chase. Please help me find that door. I'm not joking, this is a matter of life and death. My gut tells me it's my last chance to deal with my powers, and if I don't... She trails off. We will find this door, I give you my word. Some of the darkness in Hidira's eyes clears, and her smile widens slightly. Thank you, Lord Captain. I knew you wouldn't leave me in a bind. As soon as I sense we're close, I'll let you know right away. Man... Imagine if this can make her immune to spawning demons, that would be great. Okay, this is... Jay's time. The Exalted One bless the House of Von Valentius for your largesse of spirit, Cherine, and thank you for deigning to speak with me. Jay turns unusually hesitant, now tentatively choosing the words that only a moment ago rolled off her tongue in an uninterrupted cascade. Here's the thing, Cherine. My network of trade representatives has been stretched a little too thin recently, like a chiffon dress on a whore. Supplies are all over the place, orders aren't being filled, clients are kicking off, and not without reason, and revenue's plummeting. Dude, your revenue right now is the least of my interests. And if it wasn't bad enough, my guys running things from Footfall have been incommunicado recently. And an astropathic message has finally come in to tell me why. Some Ashmag, or a Hashmag, Throne Smite them, has captured my gang. And they're threatening to kill every last one of those hard grafting whelps if I don't do what they want. And they only want one thing, my Mercatum Tabula Officiale in exchange for my gang's lives. Jay tosses her thick mane of hair and grits her teeth, looking more vicious than you have ever seen her. But I'm not giving up my certificate for anything, and nor am I going to leave my guys high and dry. That's why I'm begging for your help and protection, Shireen. If I have to step into a cage of hyenas, I'd rather do it with a lion at my side. Toliman did not say who sent the message. Shireen, you know yourself that all this astropathic shit-chat is nothing but a stream of images, thoughts, intentions, nothing concrete. But I don't need the name of the sender, I already know it. I can smell Falco's stench all over this. Or else it's Vladim's doing. This is just that damned Hashmag style, Hashi take him. It could be a bluff. It could, Shireen, but I've been missing the familiar stench of the docks, and darling Octi and her bar, and even the stony gaze of the Exalted One that watches over you wherever you are on footfall. I'm homesick, you see. The tender smile vanishes from Jay's face, leaving a nakedly bleak expression behind. The Exalted One helps those who help themselves, Shireen, and I don't want to risk the lives of my people. When we reach Footfall, I will help your associates, sure. I look forward to that day, Shireen, and praise be to the Exalted One for bestowing such a miserly portion of haughty indifference upon your heart. Now it's Heinrich's. So we're basically updating all of our companion quests, I feel. Cordant, Heinrich gives you a curt nod in greeting. I apologize for barging in unannounced. I have received news that I must discuss with you face to face. You may recall that I mentioned that Achilles, Heinrich paused before continuing, that Achilles' calendar was transferred into my remit by a colleague. The colleague in question has contacted me. She requires my immediate assistance. Who is this colleague? Heinrich hesitates for a moment before answering. Emelina Lichtenhardt, Sage of the Lord Inquisitor. Tell me more about Emelina, who is she? An acolyte who was assigned a different range of objectives in the Chronodex Expanse. Heinrich sails off, then shakes his head. Throne take me, I am still trying to hide information from you even when I am asking for your help. Emelina is a sage, a unique acolyte of the Inquisition who can absorb huge amounts of knowledge and store it in her own memory more securely than any data crypt. She entered the Lord Inquisitor's retinue before even I did. Talking to her is a strange experience, but that is barely scratching the surface of who she is. Emelina is an incredible scholar, an expert on the forbidden and the illicit, and, of course, she is a loyal servant of the Golden Throne. You say talking to her is a strange experience, what does that mean? Heinrich locks his fingers and says nothing for a few seconds. Since birth, Emelina has been different from other people. Specialists from the Inquisition enhance her natural gift of hypermnesia. There are certain procedures that can be done. She creates separate blocks of memory, which she can then lock under a code word or even overwrite with new information. She can organize her mind like a normal person arranges boxes on a shelf. One box might contain information about a recent mission in the Calixis, another latest decrees of Lex Imperialis, another her own childhood memories. This level of compartmentalization might seem somewhat insane to the untrained eye, but it is the price one must pay to turn an ordinary servant into a useful tool of the Inquisition. You said the forbidden and the illicit, what does that entail? Emelina carries knowledge that is forbidden to common servants of the Imperium. She carries this knowledge within herself, as it cannot be entrusted to logs or cogitators. Heinrich frowns. I said before that acolytes of the Inquisition must shoulder a heavy burden, to come into contact with things that can penetrate and corrupt the soul. For sages, this is an especially trying ordeal. Emelina's hypermnesia has been enhanced so that she now remembers everything she sees, however briefly. After many years of service, she has examined and seen enough to become an unrivaled expert in this field. You speak of her with obvious affection. Heinrich gives you a crooked smile. Your influence has made Heinrich more merciful. Yeah, cool. Emelina was something of a mentor to me. She helped me when I had only just joined the Lord Inquisitor's circle. She taught me psych techniques to maintain my focus and equanimity. She trained me in the finer details of working with archives and data crypts. She gave me the chance to unwind a little in my post by playing games of Regicide with her. You failed to mention that Calxar has other agents operating the Chronos Expanse. I didn't fail to mention it, I deliberately concealed the information. Divulging the location of the Inquisition's agents could threaten not only the acolytes themselves, but also the results of their endeavors. I believe I have a clear picture of Emelina now. What was her message? Emelina's message is incomplete and distorted. It is impossible to make sense of every word. The only thing we know for certain is that an acolyte of the Inquisition is asking me to go immediately to Pton 4, a remote planet. In her message, she seems to be requesting either military support or help with an evacuation, but whatever precipitated this request, Emelina would not make it if it weren't absolutely necessary. I know a rogue trader has more than enough other matters to deal with. Nevertheless, I would like to officially request the Lord Captain's assistance in dealing with this issue. Heinrich inclines his head. I have no authority to demand anything from House von Valencius, therefore I am confining myself to a request. For the sake of the Kronos Expanse and the Imperium. How did you circumvent me and acquire the information from the astropathic message? The interrogator's eyebrows lift. Lord Captain, a rogue trader may be in a position to challenge the Inquisition's authority over their soul, mind, and actions, but the rogue trader's astropods and Vox officers, hardly. Is there any hint of what exactly is threatening Pton 4? Heinrich says nothing for a time, then begins to speak slowly as though he is fighting against resistance. For the avoidance of leaks, the details of the objectives of specific acolytes shall remain a secret. All I can tell you is that the primary threat that Emelina was dealing with in the Kronos Expanse was Xenos, in particular Drukhari raids on distant systems. A sage is ideally suited for gathering data about the chronology of this problem and finding appropriate methods for combating it. As for what Emelina is doing on Pton 4 specifically, I don't know. I don't even know any details about the world itself, only that there are humans there, so either it has been colonized or a garrison has been established there. The cult of the Final Dawn has been my top priority here, and my investigation has given me no cause to turn my attention to that planet. Okay. Are you certain you are asking for my help for the sake of the Imperium and not because one of your own is in trouble? Every agent of the Golden Throne is an insignificant cog in a system designed to protect the Imperium of Man. My responsibility to respond expeditiously to threats against our kind guides my every action. Heinrich pauses. That same responsibility rarely brings with it the chance to save a fellow agent's life. I will not lie and say that I am not glad to have this chance today. Okay. I shall help you. We shall go to Pton 4 and put an end to this threat. Heinrich bows. Thank you, Lord Captain. I am confident that this minor deviation from our primary course will help to stem the spread of anarchy in the Kronos Expanse, if only slightly. At the very least, we won't be outflanked. I have already spoken to the navigation crew and provided them with the coordinates to Pton 4. We can set course for it as soon as you give the order. Okay, cool. We don't have to fish for it. Now what we have? Enough, Xenos. Justice will be done, one way or another. Heinrich's voice drips with venom. Slither all you like, heretic spawn, but you will never leave this ship unscathed. The bridge is enveloped in an unusual silence. The officers on duty are huddling in the corners, looking on curiously at what is transpiring in the center. What's going on? Catching sight of you, the curious crew members dash to their posts, leaving only the senior officers in the middle of the bridge. For how long are you going to tolerate this filth on your ship, Cordant? This foul traitor who has already dragged you into the darkness once, and who almost left your protector without its sovereign? Rogue trader, Heinrich's voice makes your blood run cold. Has Eldari heresy clouded your judgment? Treachery always means death, either for the traitor or the one betrayed. You almost died in Commorragh, your retinue. You know what became of them. Is it not high time that justice was done? Those present nod wordlessly but do not dare to interfere. Now this is a fine spectacle. The inhuman gets what he deserves. Let us all watch and laugh. Okay, so they're talking about Iliad. Your wonderful path has led you into a rather thorny situation, cousin. So they're upset with Iliad but not with him? You refused to beg for mercy in Commorragh, and now you will have to lick the boots of Monkey. Silence, Xenos, your turn will come. Iliad does not react to the curses being slung at her. With an imperturbable expression, she watches the crowd before her, then turns her gaze to you. Oh my lord. Yeah, okay, no. Anyone else want to share their thoughts? You know, Lord Captain, I will support any order you give, but to keep the Xenos in the retinue, especially after everything, Abelard casts a tense look at the lower bridge, after everything that's transpired because of her, it would not be wise. The enemies of humanity have no place among humans. You know this. Cassia's hands shake a little and she clenches her fists. But death is far too merciful a sentence. What I endured was far more terrible. I don't know, Lord Captain. Idri is unusually subdued. You can punish her, but, you know, death is permanent. It's not like we were stuck in Commorragh forever, you know. The heinous behavior pattern of the Xeno entity and of specimens similar to a statistically leads to unfavorable and unpredictable outcomes. Earlit blankly surveys the crowd. This seems kind of harsh. Yeah, so I kind of would like to explain to my crew why exactly she did what she did. It's not like she didn't... Well, she didn't betray us, right? She just sent us to a place that could have information about her people without telling me the source of that information. It's not like she actually wanted to trap us. But yeah, Earlit will now apologize to everyone who was harmed by her deed, and that will be enough. Marajai laughs airily. And now the Azuriani will walk on her hind legs before the Monkey. I am glad I decided to drop by to see what all the fuss was about. Earlit's face contorts in a mix of emotions, from anger and hatred to dejection and despair. But soon she musters her courage and in a stifled, barely audible voice says, "My words will not heal the wounds on your bodies, and still, I regret what you had to endure because of me." Words will not fix what has been done. The interrogator grips his weapon, but he hesitates, shifting his intense gaze from you to the Xenos and then back. The Xenos' apologies ring hollow. There is neither repentance nor truth to them. Disappointed by the outcome of the confrontation, the officers present slowly return to their duties. Oh, okay. So they bitch, but nothing happens. Are you alright? Earlit shrugs uncertainly. Your Monkey have had it worse. I will live, and the wounds of my soul will eventually heal. They will live too, but their souls will forever bleed painful memories. They will forgive you. Not all of them, and not right away, but they will. Stop it. You cannot believe that, Lantak. I do not need words for comfort. The words of these Monkey do not touch my soul. Only your thoughts matter. Yours and mine. Do you really not care about what happened, or are you trying to conceal your true feelings again? I am sorry that my mistake led anyone along the paths of the Dark City. I can see their pain and rage. I understand. But words and pity will not help them. Only time and perhaps revenge, which will dull their pain for a little while. But you have taken away their chance for revenge, Alantak, and now all we can do now is wait. It is time to get back to work. Okay. Earlit nods and gestures elegantly before leaving. Until we meet again, Alantak, may the darkness scatter into a myriad of new stars before you. It feels like there should have been a little bit more of options there to kind of console her or explain to the rest why I'm forgiving her and whatnot. But, okay. So, we are done with this. Let's look at our quest log. We had a lot of new stuff here. I don't like to say that things are bugged for no reason, but this feels like bug. The Lord Inquisitor and the Lord Captain. Lord Inquisitor Calcazar has instated himself as the Warden of the Cronus Expanse and set up his headquarters on Footfall as the most logistically convenient location. The Lord Captain needs to meet with him to discuss the present state of events in the Expanse and the next plan of action. So, go to Footfall. To determine the role of House Van Valence in the defense of the Cronus Expanse, the Lord Captain must go to Footfall and meet with Xavier Calcazar. I think I'm going to leave this for after I deal with my companion quests. Hunting Grounds. Caligos Winterscale has turned one of his own planets into hunting grounds, where the game is the Aldari who have launched an attack on the world. House Van Valence could offer a helping hand to one of the sides of this conflict, or eliminate both of them. I see. Go to the world of Quetzaltemer. Rumor has it that Caligos Winterscale does not have the slightest concern about events in the Cronus Expanse, and instead prefers to spend his time hunting. Now may be a good time for the head of the Van Valence dynasty to pay a visit to his eminent peer. So he did seem like kind of a prick. And if he's just hunting Aldari, well, if he doesn't have a reason besides just hunting, I think I'll side with Aldari, even though I'm siding with Xenos and not humankind, but we'll see. The incident is still wait and search. The path we lost talked to Earlit aboard the Void ship. She wants to privately discuss what happened in Commorragh. Okay. Outcast duty. Find the world where the Aldari are stranded. The Farseer Moran, who resides on the agri-world of Janus by the Lord Captain's leave, has told of a trap that has taken hold of the Aldari survivors from Commorragh. According to Moran, this transpired on a verdant world whose name is hidden in the mist of visions. Elite and the Lord Captain will have to find it on their own. Okay, so we have to explore, basically. Blood ties. This is Houseware Serian, okay. The rogue trader must travel to Dargonus in order to assess the situation on the capital worlds. The door. Find the world with these visions. Idira has earnestly requested that the rogue trader explore the planet's expanse in search of an unknown world that she keeps seeing in her visions. Idira claims that her senses will tell her when the goal is near. I wish I had a clue. I think she said something in her dialogue, but I forget what it was. Rat hunting. Accompany Jay to Footfall. Jay is convinced that threatening astropathic message was sent by her old rival in the coal trade, a privateer by the name of Falco. Only by going to Footfall in person can the rogue trader get to the bottom of the situation. Okay. And the price of humanity. Reach the system mentioned in Emelina's message. Baton 4 is located in one of the fringe systems on the Cronus Expanse. Alright. Rumors. Tervantias' masterpiece. The homunculus Tervantias has lost all interest in his former work and become obsessed with completing some unknown masterpiece as swiftly as possible. This is why he's stealing suns, I believe. There is no doubt that the sinister corrupted creation will bring great woe to humanity, and so it is imperative that the homunculus' handiwork is found and destroyed without delay. I do want to do this. His prism. The ship's finest minds spent many watches trying to understand the purpose of the bizarre prism found in Commorragh. What? I think this was an item we picked up, right? The researchers were lucky to activate the object only once. Unfurling an array of petals, the prism reproduced the holographic image and coordinates of an ice planet in Langren's belt, before snapping shut once more. Aha! So we have to go there. Fall of Sentinel's Pride. Sentinel's Pride, the world that is part of House Shorter's domain, was attacked by the vicious Drukhari. Soon after word of the raid was sent, the system went silent. Not a single ship has come from it since. We want to go there as well. And the Siege of Euphrates II. A sacred planet of Adeptus Mechanicus is in peril. The cult of the Final Dawn has taken over this world and seeks to seize control of its forges. The explorer Cognizant's fleet has recalled its ships to protect its domain, and Lord Inquisitor Calcazar has sent his own force to assist. Okay, so a lot of stuff to do. In terms of contracts, we are in the same place we were before. Okay. I wanted to check something, but I am forgetting what it was. God damn it. Ah! I had written something down. Because I think I wrote down the place that required the enhanced auger array systems, but my notes right now are of Pathfinder, Baldur's Gate 3, and and the colonies in Rogue Trader. God damn it! I don't know where it was. Okay. So let's finish this off by speaking to Iliad. She's over there.
The Dark City released us from its thorny embrace. The wounds of the body will heal. But what about the wounds of the soul? Commorragh fell, and its demise shattered the fragile lives of countless children of Osirian. Scattered across this part of the galaxy, hounded by the monkey, pursued by the Dark Cousins, imprisoned by the servants of She Who Thirsts. Hatred is strangling me like a snake, and fear is coursing through my body like a burning poison. For the path I chose is leading me down the roads of failure. I can neither hold back my grief nor rein in my anger. And yet, I am powerless to stray from my path. Pay no heed to my fleeting wrath, Anantak. When the will slips away, the soul trembles with rampant emotions. But I will resign my heart to meekness, for there is no other way a marked outcast can help their fellow Eldari wandering in the dark.
Many terrible things happen in Commorragh. Are you alright?
I found myself in the Dark City after following the twisted roads of truth and lies. And although the truth blossomed like an ugly bud and scratched my soul with its thorns, I did find the answers to my questions. Those who come back from the dark of the webway will never be the same. But it is we who change while the surrounding world remains imminent. This thought gives me strength.
Drukhari suffered an enviable fate. I am sorry your word is lost.
I have no need for your sympathy, Elentark. Besides, neither Monkey nor my dark kin found the decaying remnants of Drukhari. Perhaps all is not lost. Perhaps we may yet bring back what has been taken.
What will happen to this year now?
Clendil chose to stay on the Lilithon together with Mourn and the rest of our kinsmen. Perhaps it is for the best. The stars in this part of the galaxy are hostile to the children of Asurian.
So where does the path of the outcast lead you now?
On the trail of a monkey called Caligos Winterscale. Even a worm may
I
harm
figured.
a wounded tiger by bringing infection into an open wound. And the wounds of my people have been bleeding ever since Drukhari's demise. The spirits of my kin need a poultice, a hope, not the executioner's sword already poised to fall.
Okay, more questions?
You may try.
No. So we've spoken to her, which means... Okay, that was simply to finish up that quest. Okay. T-posing servitors, right. Can I speak with Nomos? Right. So, chapter 4, by the way. Why did I fail my quest? Oh, right. He wanted something. I think it was because I didn't bring him with me. I thought I could do this without him in my party, honestly. But I guess not. Okay, I'm not gonna bother myself too much with this. No, what is the other one? I failed one that said something about the homunculus. Which one was it? Hunting ground. This one. What did I fail? We succeeded. Okay, it was either a bug in the UI or maybe I failed some kind of objective from this quest, even though the quest itself completed. Who knows? Nomos are here, what do you want to talk about? You read a databank recovered from Theodora's cache, and then you said the incident marked the beginning of Nomos. What did you mean by that? Yes, Nomos, remember. You brought us data sustenance and it contained a name, Epitaph. Recognized it? No, not like that. In that name we recognize the place where Nomos originates. Okay. Kind of weird. Right, so with this we're gonna have some stuff to do, right? Because if I want to play with this guy at some point, I'm not sure if I will. Just letting you guys know. I will have to level him up. You have some level ups to do. Yeah, you have a lot of level ups to do. Because we are at 37, so we have 5 level ups to go through. I really wonder, man. Her demolition isn't even that high. It's 105. I still like her a lot. But it is kind of painful. It is kind of painful to not take For Azuriari and Drukhari only, doesn't seem like the case. It is painful to not take Gilead with me. This on Gilead? Oh my god. %25% critical damage versus 5% damage. Woo! Yeah. I will have some thinking to do. And this Wraithbone necklace compares with this one that slows. Yeah. I have some thinking to do, my friends. I would need... Oh god. I would need to respec Gilead to get Demolition. We're getting plus 40 from Intelligence here. Azuriani Outcast. Then we have Advancement from the Operative and from the Assassin and from the Exemplar. So we have a bonus of 50 to use. But then I would lose my person with the Knowledge in Xenos, which would also suck. But this could go up to 110. Maybe even more with the Agility enhancement items. I think I'll play a little bit with Argenta. And I'll try and see how I feel playing with her instead of Iliad. And if I find it to be very underwhelming, I'll swap to Iliad, I think. Even if I have to respec her, I think I'll just swap. I love Argenta, but goddamn, she is just way too powerful. And this weapon is also very good. Okay. In any case, my friends, we are back in real space. We are back in our ship, home sweet home and all that. We have entered Act 4, or Chapter 4. We have a bunch of companion quests. We have a bunch of rumors to check out. I'm very much looking forward to seeing them. But this will be the end of this episode. So, as always, my friends, I want to thank you all for being here with me on the channel, watching some Rogue Trader. Questions, suggestions, anything at all, leave a comment below. If you are enjoying the content, consider subscribing for more. Many more videos coming out soon. And I hope to see you all in the next episode. Until then, stay safe, everyone.